If you want to play the same game as them, you really can't. If I'm just Jack McNamara running around selling energy shots, you have to find different channels to agitate your enemy. Don't attack them head on. Attack them from the side or attack small pockets in other areas. What we did is we tried to find pockets like sports specialty retailers and then try and do extremely well in those areas. Initially, our niche was kind of athletes. We were targeting the 4 major sports: hockey, basketball, baseball, football. And then once we established that, then we moved into grocery. You have to pay for shelf space, which gets very expensive, marketing in store, which gets expensive. On the online side, you have a multitude of tools at your disposal. There's 2 things you have to realize is the future is online, but retail will always be there. When something new enters the market that's so disruptive.
But mine's more of a social sharing on the line that's happening.
Online. Quick interjection. When you keep saying on the line, you do mean online.
Stuart, don't do that. You don't do that to a man.
And the companies that stay stagnant are the ones who are gonna fall apart and fail. Retail game is extremely expensive. Online game, you can get more pay for your buck. But in the retail game, you can drive a shit ton of trial. In the online game, it's very tough to actually acquire a customer. But that customer you could end up having for years. So this brings me to perhaps the most important aspect of marketing, both in terms of retail and online. It's the marketing funnel. Everyone's heard it 1,000 times. It's essentially an upside down pyramid. At the top, you got brand awareness. You have arrived, you are in the world. Next time you hear it, you're gonna know about it. Then the next level is getting that person interested in your brand. Now, how do you get them truly interested in your brand? And that's by doing market research, finding out who your demographic is. Then we get him to actually sign up for something. Then you get him to actually acquire the product. Then the last step is getting him to purchase the full order and then hopefully subscribing and becoming a customer for life. At the end of the day, that is your most valuable asset, is having a customer who really believes in your product and is going to tell the world. Word of mouth, in my opinion, is still the most valuable, cost-effective way to advertise your product. It's free.
What about the bagels and all that?
Yeah, it's free. Anything you want.
Consumers are so smart these days, they don't like getting fed advertisements, but they'll trust a friend. You can do whatever you want to make your product look like the coolest product in the world, but at the end of the day, the customer has to actually enjoy the experience of trying the product. Facebook ads, I would say they're 5 years outdated. If you got in that game earlier, you probably would have been making a lot of money. Now there's too much competition, too many of the big sharks have jumped in. Google AdWords, they're innovating more in my opinion.
For some reason, I can't get fly out of my mind, and now I'm going Lopez, Jennifer Lopez. Is it a fly girl?
Superfly, Popfly, excavation, earthquakes, California.
But I prefer to use Amazon ads. They reward you with a flywheel effect. Like the more traffic that ends up getting turned into an acquisition or a purchase, the more they're gonna keep feeding you, feeding you, feeding you. It doesn't get easier, it actually gets harder. When I started out, I would tell advisors, I'm like, man, this shit is hard. I can't wait till it gets easier. And they laughed in my face. They're like, you're at the easy part. Advertising is a necessary evil. It's a fun game to play. It's an expensive game to play, and you better do it smart.
Thank you for giving our crazy startup Drink True channel a chance. If you want more access to interviews with investors, entrepreneurs, athletes, or influencers, subscribe below, up, down, side to side. I don't really know where it is, or just give Drink True a shot.